Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. We wanted to start today off at King's Camp with some elephants, but we have come over to Okakuya where there are elephants as well that look like they're trying to find some rest in the shade, as well as a lot of springbuck that are also around. Well, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the show today. I'm really looking forward to it as always. Now, remember, as it always is, a interactive and live show. So please make sure that you send through any comments and questions that you may have. We would love to hear from you. And you can, of course, do that in a variety of different ways, whether it be on the Wild Earth app or on the website. Otherwise, you can chat to us in the YouTube chat stream. Just make sure to use @ifs if you'd like those comments and questions to come directly to me, or you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. I love Okakuya. It is so beautiful. Always such variety around, and you just can't believe that such life can exist in what looks to be such a barren land. But there are springbok. I think there might be impala as well, elephants there in the shade. Some other larger animals on the right. I'm not sure if those are zebra or potentially gemsbok. But either way, it's just beautiful. There's some large birds flying around. I know you've seen herons here as well as some birds of prey. Mercedes, always wonderful to hear from you. You say greetings to the Wild Earth crew and chatters. Happy Thursday. I believe your sunrise safari was filled with much action and some good lions. I believe the incredible sighting there right near the camp at Juma. Just unbelievable that can happen so close to camp. Caitlin, hi. It's good to hear from you as well. I don't know how much we're going to be able to contribute to Thursday here at the Waterhole Show, but either way, it's still wonderful to just take some time out and relax and enjoy the sights and sounds as always. Well, a beautiful start here in Namibia, but why don't we head back over to South Africa and see what's happening at Tau in Madikwe? Oh, very cool. Some more variety. I love ostriches. Aren't they just the coolest birds? Such an odd shaped animal, but clearly it works for them. There's also a herd of blue wildebeest as well as zebra in the background there. Maybe they'll make their way a little bit closer as we spend some time here at this waterhole. Now it looks like very blue skies here at Madikwe. I can't believe how the weather has changed overnight in the Lowveld. For those of you who do watch a bit of the dam cam that's also on Wild Earth based there at Juma Private Game Reserve, you can actually see that it's raining, believe it or not. It's a much welcomed drop in temperature. I will be honest with you all. I am loving it. I have coffee in my flask today, not cold Oros. So I'm very happy to be enjoying coffee at 1 o'clock in the afternoon rather than desperately trying to cool myself down. And by cold, I just mean cool. We really can't compete with other parts of the world that see minus temperatures, but it is, I think, 17 degrees Celsius at the moment, or something like that. Maximum temperatures around 20 degrees today. So it's not getting as warm as 38, close to 40 degrees yesterday and the day before. Oh my goodness. And there's always a lot of birds around here at Tau as well. I can see, I think it might be a common moorhen that's moving there. There's often geese, herons, sometimes black crakes as well. A lot of the waders love this type of, well, I guess soil or water level where it's quite muddy. And they can see a lot easier, of course, with there being less water. So they love to wade in the very shallows or even the muddy areas to look for aquatic invertebrates. See, some zebras have come out a little bit more. The grey heron is still here from yesterday. I'm sure it got a few more things to eat. And maybe later on the ellies will come down. I know they do love to come here to this particular area with all this green grass. And we also do have resident crocodiles at Tau. So that's always a treat if we get to see them. Picasso, lovely to hear from you. Thank you for sending through your question. You want to know if any migratory birds have arrived yet? I don't know about at Madikwe, but yes, we saw the Wahlberg's eagles have started to arrive in the Lowveld area, which means that they might arrive in other places as well, where they do come for the summer to breed. Um, there were some swifts. Was it the little swifts that I heard yesterday evening? And then maybe we'll start to see things like lesser striped swallows arriving as well. But because they're starting, I haven't heard any cuckoos yet or anything like that. They might just be waiting for a little bit later into the actual official summertime before they arrive. But Wahlbergs are definitely starting to arrive. And yeah, if anyone else watching today has seen a migrant, particularly our South African viewers, where they live, that would be wonderful to hear. The other thing that I did see yesterday driving out of Hoedspruit was a yellow-billed kite that has arrived as well. It was sort of diving over the road, and and they have this very particular way of flying and that very forked tail. So that was pretty cool. And I remember noting that, saying, oh, yellow-billed kite. So that's another migrant that has returned. Well, I have enjoyed being back here at Tau. I'm sure we might come back a little bit later to see if anything else arrives. But for now, let's head over to Kwamaritan, where there are some elephants. Oh, wow, this is awesome. Oh, there's such a little one there in the middle as well. They are quickly coming and they are quickly going as well. Oh my word. Don't know why they're in such a rush. I feel like that little one is just playing with its trunk in the water now, not really drinking at all. Oh, it's so cute. You're doing very well, little one, to splash yourself there. Fuzzy Dunlop, yes, indeed, it is a pool party. Maybe they are moving quickly because there's another herd that's on its way, potentially. Sometimes I've seen that before. They come in very quickly and go because they know there's another. Oh, did that one slip? Oh no, it's just falling down. What are you doing? Oh no, that was. I don't know what that little one had, full of beans. The bigger little one, not the tiny baby. There's two wildebeest in the background watching these elephants. I'm not sure what their plans are, if they're also going to come have a drink. Oh, but these three are loving life. Proper pool party. Maybe three young boys that are sticking around. They do tend to hang out a bit longer at waterholes sometimes. Next year in September 2025 is an amazing opportunity to visit Mashati Game Reserve with the incredible Danielle Carstens for a wildlife photography trip. Which is in Botswana. There's only space for 4 people, and it's just an incredible opportunity for those of you who love photography or maybe wanting to take your photography more seriously. And one of the big highlights is the use of an underground photo hide in the new Lala Limpopo sleep out area. And the hide is on the dam previously known as Pete's Pond. It is beautiful accommodation with air conditioner, and I'm sure many will be very grateful for that. And of course, Daniel Carstens will be with you as a professional photographer to guide you throughout the experience. And you have exclusive use of a special photographic vehicle, and you'll have on the ground training while on, of course, an incredible safari in Botswana, and that is next year 2025, if September 2025. If you would like more info on any for this trip as well as many others, you can head over to wildearth.travel. Spas, good to hear from you. You say it's great to see Kwamaritan and the elephants. It has been a long time. I think this is one of my first times coming over to this location, actually. Although I do recognize that spot on the left. We have had brief views of elephants here, and I think there was once a lion or two here a while ago, though. But you're right, Spice, it has been a while, I think, since we spent some time here. They're those wildebeest. Looks like they came for their drink. So it's an interesting dynamic to think about here with the wildebeest, and it did look as though they waited for those elephants to move off before they came down to the water. And I wouldn't say that they would be scared, as in nervous for their life, but more just intimidated. I think intimidation factor with how sort of large the elephants are. There's also a greater number of them than there are of the wildebeest. And generally, when it comes to prey species, size matters a lot. So the bigger the animal is, the bigger than it is than you, in comparison to you, you generally mind out their way. And I think the wildebeest were just letting the elephants do their thing, and as they moved off, they felt comfortable then to come forward. And you can see they didn't go anywhere near the right; they actually went all the way to the left hand side. Oh, you can see the eddies there moving off towards the lodge. And generally, we see that kind of behavior, even if we think of giraffes being very cautious. Even at Oldonyo, which is another place that we see a lot of different species around a rather small area. Generally, the elephants are sort of hogging it. Not necessarily in a bad way, but they're very large. And if there's 4 or 5 of them standing there, they pretty much take up all the space. But then slowly but surely, other species do get the courage and sort of get that. I don't know if it's courage or if it's just a bit of habituation to the presence of those elephants and realizing that they're not going to harm them. Um, and then they feel comfortable to actually approach the waterhole and go and drink even alongside the eddies. Okay, cool. Well, speaking of Oldonyo, let's head up there and see what's going on. Ah, just what I was talking about. 4 big eddies here and some giraffes waiting for their turn in the background, it looks like. Isn't this just one of the prettiest scenes that we have? Oh, it's the clouds for me, I think. I mean, and the sky, of course, the animals are gorgeous, but there's something very special about these constant sort of cumulus cotton wool clouds, as I like to call them, and a very blue sky. It's so wonderful to just listen to the sound, see that Eddie at the back just spraying himself. You could see the mud, well, the water go up into the air and land again. It is just magical. I think these boys were definitely here yesterday. I recognize that one that's just turned away and his chipped right tusk. These giraffes are definitely standing by waiting here. They're all looking one way at the moment, though. Wonder if something else is approaching. There looks to be an oryx and an earlant in the background as well. Well, in this particular elephant on the left, you see how tattered those ears are. Actually, quite floppy as well. The cartilage really almost just leathery skin left at the ends on the outlines of those ears. And that just comes with age. Spending a lot of time walking through these trees on these ancient paths. It's difficult for me to say between the three of these who would be the oldest. They're all pretty mature bulls. But I just love that when they put their ears forward and you get that classic African elephant bull look. It really is just so majestic. Jason, you are very lucky. You say you went to Kenya in 2019 and you loved it and you would love to go back again someday. It must have been an incredible trip. Oh, I see a zebra walking forward as well. The eland's still watching on. Slowly but surely, these animals tend to get closer and closer. One elephant has moved off, it looks like. Only three here now. So we may get, especially the zebras seem to be quite brave. They come forward very often while the ellies are still here. I'd actually love to run a time lapse of this particular shot because the clouds are moving from left to right. And if you watch carefully enough, you can see them moving. But I think a time lapse would be incredible over, I don't know, 20 minutes or so to actually see the change in the sky. All right, from elephants in Moldonia, let's head over to Juma and see what's happening in the Lowveld. Ah, elephants, of course. And you can see the weather, everyone. It is really an overcast, drizzly day today. Also quite windy. Yesterday evening, after the sun had set, it just all of a sudden changed and the wind just started howling outside, and that was definitely the change of weather. Luckily, it's not as strong as it was last night, but it still is quite windy. You can see the elephants here are not splashing away. They're not having a pool party as they were there in Kwamaritan. Just needing that bit of water and then slowly moving off. It'll be interesting to know what if there are going to be any interactions between the elephants and the lions that we know are quite close by. And definitely for those lions, the closest water source is this one that, well, one of the closest ones. There's also a pan that's a little bit closer for them if they choose to go there. Can you hear Franklin's in the background? Those Ellies are heading off down the road, not in the direction of the lions at this point. They look quite peaceful heading away. Oh, it's even misty. Look at that. Those low clouds coming in over the trees. Quite an eerie scene here at Juma today. Wow. All right, that was so great to check in here at Juma, but I think let's head over to Onguma. Well, it really is an elephant kind of day today. And oh my goodness, look at this bull. He is a whole different texture and color from head to the tip of his tail, from the tip of his trunk to the tip of his tail. Absolutely caked with mud. You can actually see the texture on his back there with the little bits of ground. And right now, looking very sleepy, resting, standing in the water. Even his tusks are dirty. I don't know if he would have actually gotten down into the mud, but just done an excellent job of spraying himself using his trunk. Jason, you want to know if this elephant got stuck in the mud, would the people from the reserve intervene? Jason, I'm not actually sure for Etosha National Park what their policy would be. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's one of those scenarios which I really think is highly unlikely for an elephant of this size to get stuck in the mud. It would have to be extraordinarily deep and sticky, extraordinarily. For an elephant that's possibly around 6 tons to actually get so stuck in the mud that its own strength wouldn't be able to get it out. When it comes to things like calves, I think there has been cases where the elephants themselves will actually help the little ones to get out of a very sticky situation, quite literally. Um, if we go on the sort of strict policy that human intervention is only warranted when there has been a human caused um, threat or human caused harm that has come to the animal, then technically no. Um, the team or a reserve team wouldn't intervene if an elephant got stuck, because that's just nature being nature. So I don't know. In my heart, I would want to definitely help the elephant. I mean, an elephant bull of this size, if it was completely stuck in the mud, I don't even know where you would start to help it, other than maybe waiting for the mud to dry out a little bit more so that they could break it away from the animal. Um, it's so hard to say, Jason. I think there's certain circumstances, and every case of something like that happening would be different. I think definitely for little ones, I mean, it would be very hard to not help them if that was the case, and sort of there was no one else or none of the pride, the herd was able to assist. Um, so I think it's each reserve team, each ecology team's decision on what their stance is, um, in terms of whether they would intervene or not. How awesome to check in here at Onguma. We are going to head over to King's Camp. Oh my goodness, what a view! We have come all the way back to the low veld of South Africa in the Timbavati Game Reserve, and we're having a little up close and personal visit by some elephants. How cool is this? Oh, wow, this one's got quite a badly tipped off tusk there on the left. Well, it's left, our right. You can see they were probably very similar, and that one's just broken off quite close up there towards where it joins into the face or into the jaw. Looks like there are two females here actually drinking. And that breakage of that tusk can happen in a variety of different ways. I mean, it could have been from use out in the bush, maybe breaking something off that was a bit hard, or too hard for the tusk. But likely, actually, I've seen this happen, which was quite incredible. But an elephant slipped at a waterhole and hit around the concrete that had made a sort of trough for them to drink from, and shattered its tusk, which was an incredible thing to see. And I can't imagine how painful that must have been for the elephant. But it can also be from hitting with other elephants, possibly. It could have happened when it was a lot younger as well. Tusks, unfortunately, don't grow back. This is just so cool. Oh my word. Ah, yes, Fuzzy, it was definitely time for those elephants close up. And speaking of Ellies, here we are in Okakoyo with those elephants. I think I've moved from underneath that camel thorn and now come across for some water. I just love seeing elephants here at this spot. It's just something that, I mean, they have been coming quite regularly, I think, over the last few days, but it had been a long time since I had seen them. Um, I don't know if I've even seen them here this year, maybe once or twice. Sometimes these elephants venture all the way into the center of this waterhole. I don't know if they've done that already and are sort of just hanging out now, doing a bit of splashing on the sidelines. Is this? Oh, I thought this elephant, it must be a bull here right in front of us, has a bit of a shorter trunk, but I think he's just bent it upwards. That made it look like it was a bit stumpy. It is so beautiful. The sounds as well. There's some springbuck moving in the background. Always so peaceful here at Okakoyo. I would love to come to this lodge. I met some people recently, actually, that are fans of the show and came to Okakuyo. And I know perhaps some of you watching have been here as well. And I believe it really is just a special place. And the area where you can come and overlook this waterhole is just unbelievable, and plenty of black rhino around as well, which is always special. We've had a few sightings of them before here, but they are particularly more active during the evening time with the high temperatures in the day, of course, up here in Namibia. Ari, hello. Lovely to have you with us. I believe you are from the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, and you say that it is a beautiful close up of the elephants. It is both at King's Camp and here of this elephant having a drink and a splash now, it looks like. How wonderful has this time been at Okakuya? Oh, I really could sit here all day. Well, fortunately, we have other things to see as well. So we are going to head over to Founders. Oh, wow. There's a rhino. How cool is this? We've come all the way down to the Eastern Cape here in South Africa. And how lucky are we to see this rhino that's come for a drink? Now, this would be a white rhino, everyone. I know we were just speaking about black rhinos being seen at Okakuya, but what tells me straight away when I look at this rhino is just look at that mouth, how square the front is. Oh, big exhale there. Also known as the square lipped rhinoceros, Also, the ears are very pointy. Look at that, how they come to a point. And then the third thing that stands out to me is that there are 3 humps on the back. So, of course, we've got this large neck muscle that comes down, which helps carry the weight of that enormous head. And then they've got a bump sort of in the middle of their back. And then that's the one we can see there. And then as it turns, if we do get a view, it's got a third bump that's just above the tail. So if we get a side profile, you'll see 1, 2, 3 humps. Whereas the black rhino has a completely smooth, almost saddle-like back. So it's got the neck muscle bump and the tail bump, but it doesn't have that middle bump at all. There we go. It's going to turn for us. It was going to. This is a big rhino. Oh my goodness. So there you can see that sort of behind the head and then on the back and then just above the tail. Oh, it's lifting its tail. Wonder if it smells something. Maybe there's another rhino around. Or maybe it's going to do some spraying, marking its territory. Or sometimes it just might mean that they do need to go to the loo. Wow, what a cool sighting! That was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And what a beautiful scene here, just with this shot. There's a small little yellow flower with a bit of green and the clouds and the blue sky. Absolutely stunning. All right, well, from one blue sky with white fluffy clouds to another, let's head back up to Kenya. Oh, the zebras have arrived. I thought we might see them. Sorry, we had to leave Kenya there and the camera froze, but luckily we could come to King's Camp where there are some more Ellies that are coming for their close-up. Oh, how cute is this? This is just fantastic. Oh man. This is one of the amazing things about having these cameras at these water holes, is that we just get these incredible shots that are just somewhat impossible otherwise, especially with elephants or other animals that you don't necessarily want to get really close to, unless, of course, it's a completely, out of your control situation and they approach you. But even this angle, I mean, even if you're on a vehicle and an elephant walks right up to you, you're not going to get this sort of view with them peering down, almost from you underneath them, so close to the water like this. This little one's getting a free shower here this afternoon. Oh, these two are very cute. I wonder if it's a mom and calf or just two elephants that are, I don't know, related somehow, but not necessarily mother and calf. Oh my word, what is this one doing with its trunk? So cool to actually see into the mouth there as well. Oriella, yes, it is, isn't it? I am loving King's Camp at the moment. Um, I've only been back for a few days, and this has definitely been a highlight so far. I think they've moved the location of this camera, if I'm not mistaken, from the last time I was here, which was a very long time ago. So this could have happened years ago. It was a little bit higher up. I remember seeing that water monitor lizard here swimming. And also a lot of red-billed buffalo weavers active, and woodland kingfishers when they do come back. Sorry, we lost a King's Camp there, but it was wonderful to see those elephants so close. We're back here at Etosha National Park at Onguma, and our very muddy elephant bull has now decided he's thirsty. It must be so amazing to be an elephant bull. I mean, this is quite a mature individual just based on his size, the thickness of those tusks, those sort of around the top of his head, how sunken in that forehead is, the tattiness of his ears, all of these things together. I mean, I would say over 40 years old would be my estimation. 40 plus. Just a lot of life lived, and it's so nice to see him so relaxed. You can even see the sun. I think it's this, yeah, definitely the sun that's shining. We can see his shadow in the water on those eyelashes, which are incredibly long for elephants. This bull seems to be enjoying dipping the tip, sort of the end of his trunk, just resting it in the water like that. I think he is having a little bit of a snooze. Now, there are some amazing Wild Earth travel packages on offer at the moment, and one of them is going to the Sabi Sands with Steve Falconbridge in February 2025 next year. And there are 6 spots available. And if you book this trip, you will get a free ticket to Dream. And that basically means that you'll get a chance to travel in the broadcast vehicle during one of our live sunrise or sunset drives. So, yeah, it's an amazing opportunity that you can use to be able to join the team that goes out live at Juma and be on the vehicle during a live drive, which is awesome. And also, you'll be staying at for this trip, you'll be staying at Jackie Safari House, which is just around the corner from Juma and is an exclusive use house. It's very luxurious, and you'll be able to also meet some of the famous Wild Earth characters. So, wow, what an amazing trip with Steve! And that's coming up next year in February 2025. Well, our Ellie's woken up a bit, starting to splash himself again. Maybe he's drying off too much and is realizing that he needs to cool his body down again. Spas, you say this is the first time that you've seen this elephant on Guma, and why do the Namibian elephants look so small? Um, I must say, I think I saw him here yesterday. Did I? Or was it the day before? Um, it's one of the bigger bulls that has been around, and oh, he's deciding to move off now. But I think perhaps Bassett might just be a bit of an optical illusion size wise. We don't really have much to compare him to at this point. I think if he was standing next to a tree or something, or maybe other elephants, we would realize that he's just as big, if not bigger, than some of the elephants that we see in the Sabi Sands or even Kenya. It's just a bit of the fact that we don't have a comparison, or perhaps it's zoomed in quite a lot Um, but I can assure you, he is a very large elephant bull here up in Etosha. All right, well, this Ellie heads off. Let's head back over to Okakuyo. Ah, well, it looks like the elephants have moved off, and I think are those zebras and an oryx they're drinking. Ah, yes, indeed. We can also hear some blacksmith lapwings. Oh, it looked like some pied crows there that were on the left, actually. I was wondering what some of the larger birds were that were flying. I know they enjoy perching in that large tree to the left of the waterhole as well. But what I'm looking forward to here with summer approaching is definitely the sounds of the European bee eaters returning. I'm waiting for the day, maybe in a month or so. I think beginning of October can maybe expect to hear that sort of call, that beautiful European bee eater call. It almost sounds quite chirpy. Um, they're often calling when they're flying in their flocks. While these zebras are moving off after finishing their drink, let's head over to the Western Cape and check in at Stony Point. Oh, wow. How wonderful to hear the sounds of the ocean. Not something that we hear very often in the bush, if ever. Actually, we don't hear it ever. So it's very cool that with Africa we've got this access to a different kind of nature, but still so beautiful. And there's some dassies there, I think, on the left, sunbathing. There's a few, I think, cormorants perched on the right there, and you can see these big, almost looks like wire cables that are the kelp, a type of seaweed that grows here in the cold Atlantic Ocean. Now we know that the Western Cape has been having some seriously cold weather, and I think everything is enjoying the sunshine today, very much so. And there's more of that kelp floating in the ocean. Sometimes we see pied kingfishers here as well, hopping around on the rocks. There's some of the, I think that is a cormorant that's just got its back to us. They are also enjoying the sunshine. I don't actually know how warm it is, even though the sun is shining, but I'm sure it's better than it being overcast and very cold. I know that there was snow on Table Mountain. For those of you who don't know, Table Mountain is, of course, a very famous mountain in Cape Town with an extremely flat top, and you can go up and walk on it with a cable car, and it gives you this beautiful view of the town as well as the ocean from up there. And yeah, it was there was snow on it. I saw a video. I think it yesterday or the day before. So that was actually quite amazing. It has happened before, but it's just not something that happens very often. have just checked, and even though the sun is shining, which is wonderful, it's still only 14 degrees maximum temperature in Betty's Bay today. So still is very chilly out. And what a beautiful view, the Kogelberg Mountains in the background there, which sort of clings onto the town of Betty's Bay. There's another little dusty sticking out there, I think, desperate for some sunshine. And now it's heading into the time for whales to be arriving as well. August is a great time for whale watching. This is still the western part of South Africa, but it's not quite the west coast. We're more heading Hermanus, Betty's Bay, into Infanta Bay, all of the bays that go along the sort of south western shores of South Africa, all the way to the lowest tip of Africa, Cape Agulhas. So I'm sure maybe one of these days we'll be able to spot a whale jumping or a whale tail if we stare out into the distance. Oh, that is beautiful, isn't it? There is a white-breasted cormorant. And they're incredible swimmers, and and a kelp gull there to the left, and hunters, and often come out to just dry off their feathers so that they can go off and find food again. All right, wonderful to get some variety and head over here to Stony Point. Why don't we head back over to Namibia at Okakuyo? Ah, some more elephants have arrived. That is wonderful. I'm so happy to see that there's so many eddies still around, and this little herd has come for a drink. There seems to be a small one there in the middle as well, which is always special. Just to the right, actually, there's even a smaller one that seems to be sandwiched itself between the two bigger elephants, as they often do, these little ones. They know exactly where it is safest. Hopefully, we'll see it pop out soon. Oh, now they are starting to have a bit of fun. I was hoping that they would get a little bit more involved in the water with pool parties like we love to watch. Danny, so in this particular case where they are at the moment, there are no crocodiles or hippos in the water, so it's not something that these elephants would possibly even know exists because they've never seen one before. And that is because there's no large river systems in the area, and that is how crocodiles and hippos are able to travel into reserves. And other than being translocated and actually put into or put back into reserves where they have naturally gone extinct in an area. But Danny, if we look at other areas, for example, in the Lowveld where there's plenty of crocodiles and hippos around, they would generally know that there is a risk of crocodiles. I mean, there's a very large waterhole in the northern Sabi Sands that we often visit. And I mean, I also wonder, sometimes buffalo, sometimes elephant, they go to the water and they drink. And although that we can see crocodiles and hippos, they're not too fazed by it. I think because they're larger in size, they don't have to worry too much, but they are, of course, cautious with the young ones, which is definitely a target for a croc. But I think sight is part of it, so they could know that. Sound maybe as well, but I think crocodiles can surprise them just like they can surprise us. I mean, they are so sneaky, and they can be in water and the elephants may not know about it whatsoever. So I don't think they always know, but where they do occur in areas, for example, like the Lowveld, the elephants would be aware of them because they've seen them before, and they know that they can cause harm, bite off their trunk, maybe grab a little one, for example. And so they approach with caution, but also knowing that because they have size on their side, they can drink from waterholes with crocodiles. But they don't, at the end of the day, they don't avoid waterholes if there are crocodiles in them. I've seen them drink from plenty that do have crocodiles in them. So it is a risk that all these animals have to take. But here at Okakuyo, that is one thing that these Eddies don't have to worry about. Ah, yes, I'm so happy that they are enjoying themselves, having a proper pool party here. I'm so glad this herd came and decided to do this for us this afternoon. Oh my goodness, that little one, I can hardly even see it anymore. And they use their trunks like snorkels. You can see how they stick them out above the water. So even though they put their heads down, they're still able to breathe, which is quite cool. You can see that little one's having a lot of fun jumping on the others' backs. And it looks like the party is ending here slowly but surely. They're going to make their way out of the water. It looks like, oh, this one in the middle, still wanting some more, not quite ready to leave just yet. And this is definitely the highlight of these elephants' day. I mean, how could it not be? Absolute bliss. Clearly, the others weren't ready, but one was. There's a lone, what looks to be a lone gemsbok walking towards the water. And slowly they'll make their way off into the distance. And it always amazes me how quickly the animals disappear here. You think that it's such a big open area before they get to the tree line that, it'll take a while for them to move off. But before you know it, they're gone. All right, well, let's head back over to Stony Point. Pat, you'd like to know the name of the animals that live in the rocks. Those are what we call dassies or hyraxes. They are basically rock rabbits that can also be referred to, but the correct name is hyrax, or in South Africa referred to as dassies, and they live in the rocks there. And yeah, they are interesting little animals, but very much enjoy sunbathing and keeping warm. So with the sun out today, they are enjoying getting a little bit of heat, although I don't know how much they actually absorbing. And dassies will feed on all sorts of things, these hyraxes, whether it's grasses or fruits, even sometimes insects, small reptiles. So they're a bit basically omnivorous in the area. Jordania, you want to know if I've seen a caper clawless otter. I wish I've seen a Cape clawless otter. I have seen their tracks and I've seen them all over. Whether it is in the Lowveld or I've seen them in the Transkei as well, on the beach there, and beautiful tracks actually, but you can see that they're clawless, which is quite cool, very round little toes. And yes, it's one of the things that I hope to see one day. But I have seen their tracks and signs of them in different areas. I'm sure they might have seen Cape fur seals around here as well. I know there's quite a big colony that is off the coast of Cape Town. I wonder if they have been seen at Stony Point before. Mercedes, you are quite keen to go whale watching, and soon they'll be heading south. Yeah, exactly. It's a great time of year to go whale watching in this area, heading towards, well, from here, east, west, anywhere between sort of Cape Agulhas and up the west coast of Cape Town. But particular here around Betty's Bay, Infanta Bay, Hermanus is a very famous area for whale watching. Onrus, there's quite a few places. Pringle Bay, another one. And you can do whale watching, sea safaris, if you want to refer to it as that. Well, we've come back over to King's Camp here. And I can't believe that we are heading into the last few minutes of the show. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. It has been a wonderful show here with you. I will be back tomorrow with you all for my last live at the waterhole before I head back to June next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for all your comments and questions, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Liam Burrow coming to you from a very soggy Juma private game reserve, and this is